Inflation. You're probably sick of hearing this word over and over again. Is it transitory? Is it permanent? Are we headed towards hyperinflation? Those are some of the questions various YouTubers and financial media personalities have attempted to answer using a wide range of data, interviews, and pure speculation. Since January of 2021, we have seen price increases in all kinds of places, and the topic of inflation finally returned to the mainstream after a near 40-year hiatus. But just as it came back, it went away. The overall sentiment is beginning to change. The market is hesitant to continue worrying about this looming cloud of inflation. Maybe after all, these price hikes were temporary and Jerome Powell was right. There is a notable difference in interest in regards to inflation-related content now versus 2 months ago. And changing market dynamics are causing us to dismiss this once huge concern. Various commodities sold off their top, most notably lumber, falling nearly 50%. And stocks show no signs of slowing down, with the S&P 500 hitting record numbers recently. So the big question, is inflation just another overstated worry that turned out to be nothing? Are Michael Burry's tweets all wrong? In this video, we answer all these questions by digging a little deeper and sifting through the data. We start with one of the most simple explanations I've ever heard in regards to what is happening in the markets right now. This is a clip from Mohamed ElErian, president of Queens College and former CEO of PIMCO, summarizing exactly what everyone is missing.
Mohamed, I shouldn't say probably. Am I correct to think that the next issue with the Fed, the next time we'll be getting guidance from them, is in August from Jackson Hole?
Yes, and the market expects that we will start getting some indications of what the tapering will look like. When will it start, at what pace, and what comes thereafter? I want to stress that the market has gotten very relaxed because the Fed top management is very relaxed. If you actually were to look at the numbers on inflation, you would start having serious doubts in your mind as to how transitory the inflation is. But as long as the Fed believes it's transitory, that is what matters for markets. You've got to listen to what the top Fed officials are saying, even if you disagree in the short term with their judgment.
So there you have a man who was once responsible for actively managing more than $2.21 trillion across the world, explained that the concerns surrounding inflation should still be taken seriously. As he stated, the market is always going to listen to what the Federal Reserve is saying, and right now, they're still going with their story that everything is just fine. But as the summer goes on and the elephant in the room becomes harder and harder to ignore, the pressure to give in will ultimately be too much. There is no doubt Jerome Powell will eventually be forced to admit inflation is not so transitory. The data is slowly coming in, and the things we were assuming are now being confirmed with real numbers. Take, for example, Goldman Sachs' newest report. This is a bank that has been largely dismissive of inflation thus far, but recently it highlighted some of the growing issues that we are seeing. John Hatzius, their chief economist, pointed to various new data points that are indicating wage growth concerns. Wage inflation is especially important to look at as it can't possibly be transitory. Once you give someone a raise, taking it away becomes nearly impossible. This is why a recent survey reported that workers with usual earnings below $60,000 per year say they would need a wage 26% higher than they required before the pandemic to accept a job. That is pretty concerning in many economists' eyes, as it signals a completely different narrative compared to what Jerome Powell has been saying. Look around at fast food places, retail, and lower-end manufacturing jobs, and you can see exactly what is occurring. For one reason or another, there just isn't enough money these companies can throw at employees to get them to work. Now, some are saying this is all due to the extended unemployment benefits that end in September, but I'm not sure if this theory is going to hold. Many who were on unemployment making close to $1,000 a week are now being asked to return to work and make ends meet at $10 an hour. Right or wrong, human psychology works in very interesting ways, and once you get a taste of the high life, it's hard to go back to the old grind, especially when everything around you has jumped up in price. This includes cars, homes, rent, and food. For people who sat at home and made more money in the past year watching Netflix, the urge to go back to a warehouse floor or a kitchen is just not there. Alternatives like DoorDash, Uber, and other side hustles have made the job market very different from what it was in 2019. Take for an example Chipotle. They pay their staff an average of $15 an hour. Now, who in their right mind would choose to work at a local restaurant for nearly half that, with conditions and hours that are most likely worse than the big multinational corporations like Chipotle. This is just one of many examples. Walmart, Amazon, and countless others are paying 15 as well. This may not be great, but it's still much better than the high-intensity, dirty jobs that many were doing pre-pandemic for $8 an hour. And these wage hikes have caused these companies to push their prices as well. At the end of the day, these are all theories, but when prominent individuals like Mohamed ElErian say things like this, you gotta listen. But before I show you his other shocking statement, please hit that subscribe button if you're enjoying the content. Thank you. Now back to the video.
So the market certainly believes we're all clear because the top leadership of the Fed is telling us we're all clear. As I've shared with you before, I have concern about the inflation story. Every day I see more evidence of inflation not being transitory. And I have concern that the Fed is falling behind and that it may have to play catch up. And history makes you very uncomfortable if you end up in a world in which the Fed has to play catch up. Normally we end up with a recession because you have to slam on the brakes as opposed to slowly taking your foot off the accelerator, which is what I believe is going to happen. But so I am worried, but these are not day one issues. Mm-hmm. These are down the track because we're not going to have evidence, and certainly not unambiguous evidence of the nature of inflation until well towards the end of the year.
As the summer continues, more and more data will undoubtedly seep in, and we will have a much better picture in a few months. Unemployment benefits have already expired in many red states, and with no stimulus on the horizon, it will be interesting to see how Americans react to the post-pandemic boom once all of the government support is ended. In the meantime, if you're looking to diversify your holdings and maybe buy up some crypto as a way to protect yourself against the potential inflation explosion, please consider signing up for BlockFi using my affiliate link down below in the description. I keep about $5,000 with them and earn some pretty incredible interest on both my stablecoin and crypto holdings. Thank you guys for watching, and as always, please make sure you hit that subscribe button.